Shedeur will be a better starting quarterback in the National Football League than Arch or Cade Klubnik will be if Shedeur ever gets the opportunity to be a starting quarterback.
It is the sickest feeling you can imagine because your mistake hurts so many other people, and it is hard to shake it off.
Do you think the Browns will bring kickers in here this week?
They should bring kickers in, but I would give him another game.
What?
I would.
What if he blows another one
Well,
and
they're
you should
gonna
be
lose.
2-0 and you're 0-2?
Okay,
one game I can understand.
You got to you got to give him a second chance. But I have someone on practice squad or tryouts.
I'm sure
they should have been doing this prior. I mean, I think they missed the boat.
So, Tone, do you think this is operator error by the GM to just go, well, Dustin didn't kick well, you get the job?
No,
this kid.
I think he should have had a kicker on the.
He didn't take a single snap, but somehow Shedeur Sanders managed to dominate NFL headlines without even lacing up for the game. During a brutal matchup between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, all eyes were supposed to be on the field. Missed field goals, questionable play calling, a heartbreaking loss for the fans. But then, out of nowhere, one sideline moment stole the entire show. Shedeur Sanders, not even dressed in uniform, casually walked over to the Browns' rookie kicker, the same kicker who had just cost them the game. No yelling, no finger pointing, just a quick conversation, a nod, and a dap. And the internet? It exploded. Because depending on who you ask, that little moment either showed unreal leadership or a calculated power move to grab attention in the most unexpected way.
Shedeur will be a better starting quarterback in the National Football League than Arch or Cade Klubnik will be if Shedeur ever gets the opportunity to be a starting quarterback. I said Shedeur should have been the first overall pick in last year's draft, this past draft. And somehow he fell all the way to the 5th round and is now stuck at 3rd string for, along with New Orleans, one of the 2 worst teams in the National Football League.
Rumors are flying. Some say Shedeur's trying to send a message. Others believe it's all just hype before the draft. But here's the thing. This wasn't just a cool clip or some viral tweet. This might be the beginning of something much bigger. Cleveland fans were holding their breath. The Browns had clawed their way into striking distance, moments away from sealing a late-game comeback against the Bengals. All they needed was a clean field goal, a matter of mechanics. But then, disaster. Rookie kicker Cade York lined it up and missed. Wide. Deflating. A gut punch for the team and the entire stadium. All that effort, gone in a single snap. Immediately, the blame game erupted online. Some pointed fingers at York, calling him unprepared and not ready for the big leagues. Others weren't so quick to judge, blaming big-picture coaching decisions, especially how the team
Stefanski coached a great game except for 2 things. He gets to the 13, and there's 2 minutes to go, and he's playing for a field goal right there. Yeah. Let him throw it in the end zone. Oh, my gosh. And then the opposite happened in the end of the first half. They got to the 35-yard line of the Bengals with 1:57 to go, and they just sat on the ball. I mean, they were going 35 seconds before they run a play.
Yeah.
And he made that field
So here's
goal.
what happened.
Yeah.
Watching on TV, I was screaming at home. They huddled.
I was too.
They huddled.
It should have been the exact opposite.
Yes.
I think
and
he's
I'm a guy
worried
who
about turnovers. Like he doesn't trust Flacco.
Oh, he trusts Flacco more than anybody on that field, I
No.
think. Yeah.
He just got a little conservative.
But while fans were stewing online and sports analysts were tearing apart the post-game tape, something happened on the sideline that no one expected. Quietly and confidently, Shedeur Sanders walked over to the kicker. Not to scold him, not to flex, just to talk. The cameras caught the exchange. It was brief, but powerful. A calm pat on the shoulder, a quick dap, and a few unheard words between them. Then, Shedeur walked away, almost like it never happened. But the internet didn't forget. In fact, they couldn't stop replaying it. Because while York may have been the one under fire, it was Shedeur who walked away with the spotlight. Why was he even there? Was it just a kind gesture or something deeper? People started asking questions, and fast. Was this leadership? Was this strategy? Or could it be something even bigger? Whatever it was, everyone had a take, and it wouldn't be the last time Shedeur stole the moment.
You're 13-point underdogs against the Ravens, who are angry after blowing another fourth-quarter lead last night. So this is even more reason why you needed to win that game. Chris, would you have taken 1-1 after Bengals-Ravens?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like, that's the difference between you winning 6 games or you winning 10 games. Like, that first win, that first game, to win that game sets the tone for...
In the middle of Cleveland's heartbreak, when emotions were running high and the locker room vibes were at rock bottom, Shedeur Sanders did something no one expected, and that's exactly why it blew up. Most players would have stayed in the background. After all, Shedeur wasn't even suited up. He didn't play. He had no reason to be anywhere near the spotlight. But instead, he walked right into it. As the cameras rolled, Shedeur calmly approached Browns kicker Cade York, the young man who just missed a game-deciding field goal and was being torn apart by fans in real time. Shedeur didn't wag a finger or say, "Keep your head up on camera," for likes. He gave him something real, a pat on the shoulder, a few quiet words, and a dap. Then he turned and walked away like it was no big deal. But it was. Because within minutes, clips of that moment hit X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and every sports blog you could name. One post racked up hundreds of thousands of views in under an hour with the caption, "Shedeur is dapping up the kicker who just lost them the game. He wants the starting QB spot now. Classy or calculated?" And just like that, an emotional loss for Cleveland turned into a nationwide debate about Shedeur Sanders. Is he a leader in the making? A master of public image? Or just someone who understands how to control the narrative without ever throwing a pass? The move may have lasted seconds, but the shockwaves, they were just beginning. Because this wasn't just compassion. Some people saw this as a signal. The moment that dap hit the timeline, NFL Twitter absolutely melted down. Some viewers saw leadership. Others saw something more strategic. But the loudest voices, they weren't holding back. He wants that Browns QB spot. PR move 100%. Man's making plays off the field. That wasn't just a dap. That was a campaign. And just like that, what was originally a post-game support gesture turned into one of the most talked about moments of the NFL week. And Shedeur wasn't even on the field. Even sports bloggers and insiders started chiming in. One thread went deep, analyzing Shedeur's body language, the timing, and even his facial expression, calling it a classic Deion-style alpha move, passed down from father to son. Another sports commentator tweeted, "Shedeur just knows the cameras are always watching. That might be smarter than people realize." But perhaps the real kicker? Some fans genuinely took this moment as a quiet audition. Considering the Browns' current instability at quarterback and special teams, talk started swirling. Was this a preview? Was Shedeur low-key positioning himself for a future spot in Cleveland? Sure, it sounds like a reach, until you remember who his father is. Deion Sanders turned media moments into legacy moves. And now, his son might be doing the exact same thing, turning a sideline handshake into a nationwide headline. Whether it was clean sportsmanship, intentional branding, or just a glance into Shedeur's personality, one thing was clear. Everybody saw it, and nobody could stop talking about it. What happened next only made things louder. This wasn't the first time Shedeur Sanders made headlines, but it may be the first time the NFL couldn't ignore it. Even Some even believe he could go late first round, maybe higher, depending on how this coming college season unfolds. But after this whole Browns situation blew up, his stock is doing something unusual. It's rising before he's even touched the field again. And here's why that matters. It's not just about skill anymore. Teams are constantly looking for faces of their franchise. Players who can lead on the field and sell tickets, merchandise, and trust off the field. And whether folks like it or not, Shedeur just proved he can do that effortlessly. The NFL has dealt with enough robotic quarterbacks trying. So while Twitter argued over whether that sideline gesture was for clout, NFL personnel might have been thinking something else. This kid might be ready for something bigger than college ball. When your last name is Sanders, you're not just playing a game. You're carrying a legacy. Shedeur Sanders isn't just some young QB prospect trying to find his lane. He's the son of Deion Sanders, the Hall of Famer, the media magnet, the cultural icon. And that changes everything. Because for Shedeur, it's never just about football. Every move he makes comes with a microscope. Every comment, every handshake, every highlight, all of it gets filtered through the lens of being primetime's son. That kind of pressure could crack most athletes. But here's the twist. Shedeur's thriving under it. He doesn't flinch when the cameras are on. He's cool under fire in interviews. And just like his father, he knows how to flip criticism into content. And let's not forget, Deion isn't just a proud dad shouting from the sidelines. He's a master strategist. From turning Jackson State into a national headline machine to transforming Colorado's program with media buzz alone, everything Deion touches turns into headline gold. Shedeur's learning from the best. So when he walks up to a struggling NFL kicker during a viral loss, people see more than a kind gesture. They see the shadow of a larger plan. A calculated move that just so happens to reflect the exact brand of confidence and control his father has built his empire on. Because when Deion says "we coming," Shedeur's not just tagging along. He's leading his own charge and making damn sure everyone's watching. He gets that. This isn't a random college QB trying to go viral off a handshake. This is a calculated move, one piece in a growing puzzle called the Shedeur Sanders brand. And like it or not, it's because with one tap on the shoulder, one short, silent exchange with a defeated kicker, he managed to spark national debate, generate millions of impressions, and plant his name into the mouths of NFL fans and media heads across the country. That's not luck. That's understanding the game behind the game. Just like his father turned post-game interviews into sound bites and pre-game speeches into memes, Shedeur seems to know the formula already. Look the part. Control the narrative. Let the media do the heavy lifting. This is the generation of quarterbacks that knows how to market themselves before they even declare for the draft. And while some prospects are still polishing their footwork, Shedeur's polishing his public image and doing it with almost surgical awareness. To some, it may feel manipulative. To others, it's just smart business. Because in an NFL that's as much entertainment as athleticism, branding equals value. Is Shedeur perfect? No. Has he even proven himself in the league yet? Also no. But he's already learned that if buzz comes before you, the NFL starts listening harder. And Shedeur, he's speaking loud without saying much at all. The kicker missed the field goal. That part's obvious. The Browns lost a winnable game. That part stings. But the real story? The Browns may have accidentally revealed just how shaky their foundation really is. And Shedeur Sanders might have picked the perfect moment to expose it, without even trying. Let's break this down. Cleveland still doesn't have a rock-solid answer at quarterback. They're relying on a strong defense, but games keep slipping through the cracks because of poor decision-making and special teams breakdowns. And while veterans like Joe Flacco have stepped in, the truth is, there's no clear long-term. In other words, this team has an opening. Maybe not officially, maybe not today, but in the minds of fans and even rival front offices, the Browns look available. That's what makes Shedeur's sideline move so powerful. Not only did he show confidence, timing, and media awareness, he showed NFL teams that he sees opportunity and knows exactly when to strike. Other struggling franchises had to take notice too. Teams like the Patriots, the Raiders, or the Falcons. Organizations hunting for a new face, a future QB, someone who can lead and handle the lights. Shedeur's moment with the kicker wasn't just leadership, it was audition tape. He showed maturity, empathy, and presence. The same things GMs and scouts look for when evaluating if a young quarterback is franchise material. So while Cleveland was licking its wounds, Shedeur might have just made his case to the entire league. And the scariest part, he's not even in the NFL yet. Here's something most young athletes don't realize until it's too late. The media doesn't wait for a star to arrive. They create one. And in the case of Shedeur Sanders, that process has already started. Before he ever takes a snap in the NFL, before the draft order is even finalized, the media has chosen their storyline. He's the flashy, confident, controversial, legacy son of a Hall of Famer. He's got the look, the edge, and the it factor. And whether he turns out to be a bust or a breakout, the NFL media machine has already locked in their target. Because let's be honest, narrative sells faster than stats. We've seen it too many times to ignore. Johnny Manziel was a media darling before he flamed out. Baker Mayfield was polarizing before he ever took the field. Cam Newton walked in with fashion and flair just like Shedeur, and the spotlight never left him. Now, it's Shedeur's turn. Except, and instead of running from it, he's playing into it. One quiet handshake, one 3-second interaction. That's all it took to dominate headlines, drive speculation, and ignite fan debates across fan bases. Not a pass, not a throw, just posture, timing, and presence. So when people ask, why is Shedeur Sanders always in the headlines? The answer might be simpler than expected. The league hasn't crowned him yet, but the media already has. And in the modern NFL, that might matter just as much. So let's bring it full circle. Shedeur Sanders didn't throw a touchdown. He didn't call a play, suit up, or take a single snap. But somehow, he walked away as the most talked about player of the entire game. All because of one moment. A gesture, a look, a quiet. Was this genuine leadership, smart PR, or the beginning of something much bigger? If it was leadership, it shows maturity far beyond his years. If it was media strategy, he's already outplaying others before even entering the league. And if it was bigger, part of a long-term calculated branding play, Deion's son just proved he doesn't need the NFL to make headlines. He is the headline. In a league starving for new faces, new narratives, and viral moments that transcend the stat sheet, Shedeur has already found the cheat code, and he's using it right in front of us. The kid hasn't been drafted. He hasn't played a down, and yet he's already making moves like a 10-year veteran with a PR team on retainer. So here's the real takeaway. This wasn't just a dap. It might have been a declaration. He's not here to wait his turn. He's not here to follow the script. Shedeur Sanders is writing his own. And the NFL world, it's reading every word, whether it's ready F